Hello, traders. Welcome to Sunday Market Breakdown. We're preparing for the upcoming week and we're going to be looking at the fundamentals as well as the technicals. Okay, so let's start with the fundamentals. Fundamentals, let's look at last week so we know what's going to happen this week. Okay, last week we saw some weak CPI for Euro. We saw good GDP. Previous quarter for the US kept at 2%. Previously, it was 2.1, slightly lower, but again, it was forecasted to be 2%, and it came out as 2%. Again, we had consumer confidence for US, which again came out positive. Previously was 35.8, and actually right now it's 35.1, slightly negative, but again higher than the forecast. Okay, then we had Canadian GDP, which came out positive. Previously was 0.2. Okay, at the moment it's still 0.2. It was forecasted to be 0.1. However, it stayed the same again, which is positive for the Canadian dollar. Okay, and that's about it. Last week we saw some Euro CPI, which again, like I said, came out as expected on forecast, but it was the German CPI which kind of shocked a lot of us because we was expecting it to be not as negative. It came out as minus 0.2, and previously it was 0.5. So that's a problem, okay? And especially Germany being one of the biggest contributors in the euro. So in the eurozone, so we could expect a lot of weakness in euro across the board. And again, the CPI, like I said, was 1%. And again, we are below targets. Targets being again at 2%. So let's look at the market. Let's look at the charts and let's see if we can spot any good setups. If we can predict what may happen in the market this upcoming week. So we have the Dixie being dollar index. We know that at the moment we are facing a global recession. Okay, not yet, it hasn't yet happened, but we are on our way. Okay, but with that being said, we know that the Aussie is struggling. We know that the pound at the moment is struggling. We know that the Kiwi is at the moment struggling against the dollar. And we also know that the euro against the dollar is struggling, and the reason for this is because dollar at the moment is one of the currencies that a lot of investors are putting their money into. Okay, it's the strongest currency at the moment, whilst there's a global recession that's about to occur. Okay, and with that being said, it is important to note that the Feds and Donald Trump, they're not going to allow the growth of the dollar to increase dramatically because when an economy's growth expands too quickly, there's a chance that it could collapse. So what they would do is they would cut rates to kind of sustain the growth. So we know that the the Fed Fund futures, which is the trader survey, is indicating 100% for rate cuts in September. Okay, so with that being said, we don't know if that's gonna happen, but that's indicating 100% rate cuts. So we want to see what that how that plays out. If we get a rate cut, then we know why, because they want to slow down growth. Okay, too much growth isn't good for the economy. Steady growth is not too much. They want to grow steadily so that the rest of the world catches up. Okay, so with that being said, that I do favor dollar still to increase this week, and I do favor price action to still be bullish and still press to the 100 level. As we can see that we've broken through the 98.12 level where we had multiple resistance previously, and now we are pushing up higher. We closed on the daily on Friday quite bullish, so I do favor price action pushing up all the way up to the 100 level. Okay, but that's for dollar. So we are going to see how the market plays out. I do want to see how price action really reacts around this area here, to be honest, where we've already rejected. Are we going to break and sustain, or are we going to reject and roll it back over? I do want to see how that really plays out throughout the week. I will be keeping you guys updated on the dollar index, and we will be moving on to the rest of the market and seeing how price action is playing out, and if there is any opportunities that we can potentially take advantage of and make some profits. But before we get into that, I just want to quickly recap on fundamentals, what's going to happen this week as well. So this week what we have is let's go over. So this week we have quite a lot of fundamentals. Being September the 1st, it's been the second quarter again. Let me just emphasize that the second quarter is when we see quite a lot of liquidity into the market, and that's the reason for that is because we know that Christmas is going to be coming around the corner. So a lot of investors want to make that money to be spending, etc. Okay, so what we are going to be seeing is quite a lot of market movement. So we are going to see a lot of fake outs. So we are going to be fully prepared for that to occur. Okay. So with that being said, we are seeing Australian dollar retail sales coming in on Tuesday, which is going to be really good indication of what Euro AUD may be doing, AUD USD may be doing. But before we get into that, we've got China manufacturer PMI. This is going to be quite interesting to see, because with the whole trade war going on, are we going to see a number that's going to be below 49.9? Okay, anything below 49.9 indicates a weakness in yen pairs. So we could see GBP JPY rally up to the upside, USD JPY rally to the upside. However, if we do get anything above 49.9 or anything above 49.8, do see strength in yen pairs. So we could see Euro JPY push lower, break that level 116. We could see USD JPY push lower all the way to 105, or we could see GBP JPY push lower as well. Okay, and then on Tuesday we have the Australian, like I said, retail sales, which is indicated already to be negative. And then we have their interest rates, which is called cash rates, and we have their monetary policy as well. So with that being said, okay, I do favor them keeping the interest rates the same. And the reason why I do say that is because they've already cut their interest rates by 25 basis points this quarter that we've just had. Okay, so I think it was around March time they've cut their interest rate by 25 basis points. Okay, once they've done that, I don't think they are willing to do it again just yet. So what they may say is they may come up with a statement, a dovish statement, which indicates that they are going to be cutting rates in December. Okay, but they may be watching out for how the rest of the quarter data actually indicates, so what the data is going to be suggesting that the economy is doing. So if we get positive data, then they may keep their rates, or they may even hike rates. Okay, so this quarter is really important for the Australian dollar, and also the China and US trade war is very important that the trade deal actually comes to an end for Australian dollar. Okay, so excuse me. So with that being said, I do favor Australian dollar this week to weaken, extremely weaken. Then again, on Wednesday, we have the Australian dollar GDP, which is expected to come out positive, but I think it may come out negative. It may surprise the market and come out negative. And if that occurs, we could see significant weakness. Okay, but if data at the moment is forecasted to come out as 0.5, but if we get anything below 0.5 or 0.4, I do favor Australian dollar to weaken. We've got Canadian trade balance at the moment is forecasted to be higher than previous, which is not good. Okay, so we want to see how that comes out. Then we've got GPB inflation hearing, Bank of Canada statements. I do believe, okay, that on Friday, because we had a positive GDP for Canadian dollar on Wednesday, I favor that the GDP is going to be on Wednesday, I favor that overnight rates are going to be kept the same, and they may come out with a neutral tone. And if that happens, see strength in Canadian dollar temporarily. Okay, it may not last, but it may just be temporarily, as Friday we have employment change and unemployment rates. This is going to be a significant indicator for this pair for the upcoming quarter. Okay, which is why we are seeing these data come in as early as possible and beginning of the month. Okay, because it's the beginning of the first quarter, beginning of the month, and we will see how this pair plays out throughout this entire month. If we get Canadian dollar weakness with high unemployment rates, and rates kept at the same, then we could see Canadian dollar weaken. Okay, but if unemployment rates kept comes in low, GDP positive, Canadian dollar interest rates kept the same with a neutral tone, I do favor Canadian dollar to gain strength throughout this entire month. Okay, so then we have NFP on Friday, and we have unemployment rates, and our average hourly earnings. So this is going to be significant for US. And then we have the Fed Chair Powell speaking, and he's going to be obviously speaking about rate cuts, etc., and how the globe, how the economy is outperforming the rest of the world. But this three here is going to be really create a lot of volatility for the US. If we see non-farm payroll come in lower than previous, which is at the moment forecasted to be even higher, previous being 164k. If we see anything lower than 170 or 168, then I do favor for US to actually drop back down all the way back to 95. Okay, maybe 95 region where structure at the moment is holding for the uptrend. Okay, I do favor price action to roll back over. So with all that being said, a lot of fundamentals being covered. Let's get to the technical side. So technical, we got GBP USD this week. Okay, with USD gaining significant strength over the end of the week on Friday, what we saw here was on a daily time frame that 1.22850 being our weekly resistance has been respected throughout that entire week. Okay, so 23rd, 26th, so the 23rd, 26th, 27th, so 23rd being previous Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 1.22850 we couldn't break for 1, 2, 3, 4 days. After that, we sustained above 1.21850, which was our monthly support, but now turned into resistance. We sustained above that, which previously here was an area of resistance, but here was an area of support. Now we've broken through. I do favor price action to continue to the downside all the way to 1.20850, where previously we've held a support. So I do favor price action to come back down. This was an inverted head and shoulder, which we broke off the neckline. I thought we was going to retest and rally back to the upside, but because of US dollar gaining significant strength and outperforming the rest of the world, I do favor USD to drag this pair back down to 1.20850. Okay, going to the 4-hour time frame, what we saw there on Friday was that we had a shooting star candlestick which broke, which retested the moving averages and now made its way to the downside. We had this bearish engulfing which broke back into the channel and retested the dynamic support. Okay, we've had that 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch and pushed itself up. Okay, I don't know what is happening. We is glitching now, I feel like. Okay, so what we had was that triple top at resistance. We could not break this resistance. 1, 2, 3. Okay, after that triple top, everyone should have realized that price action did not want to go any higher than this area. Okay, broken back into this level, moving averages are being tested, is dragging price down, and now we've broken through 1.21850 and now turned into monthly resistance after that retest on a smaller time frame. Look, broke retest on a smaller time frame. I do favor price action now to make itself back lower all the way to 1.0850. Okay, that's about 80 pips to the downside. I do favor price action to pull back up into this area before rolling over during the London session or Asian session to the downside. I will be watching this pair very carefully and updating you guys, but for now I do favor GBP USD to the downside. Okay, GBP AUD, like I said, we've got that AUD weakness coming in, but we just have to be very patient and wait on it. As we can clearly see right now, that price action wants to go lower. We've made that lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then exceeded that low high and made a double top, but retested the trend line. If you can see, okay, we're still above the monthly the weekly support. I don't know why it says resistance, but previously resistance here, broke above, now retesting this area. Okay, so I am watching this weekly support. Okay, I am watching this weekly support very carefully. Okay, because at the moment this area support here, multiple support regions, okay, also acting as good level of resistance. So I do favor price action now because it's come back into this area. If I zoom in closely, can I see any reversal patterns? I see this bullish engulfing. Price action came back into this area, held again by a very good bullish candlestick. I got a pin bar occurring here, so I really want to see how price action reacts around this region. So I'm going to highlight it and make it in my box region and wait for price action to tell me what it wants to do. If it breaks, I will wait for a retest and push lower, and then we could come down into this monthly support region here, and then where we can see where price action wants to go. But because we are at an area of support, and I do believe that the AUD is going to weaken on Tuesday, I do favor price action now to push to the upside. But because we know that AUD is going to weaken on Tuesday, what the market makers may do is that they may show weakness in GBP, AUD. I'm sorry, in the pound against the Australian dollar. We may get a push lower to come back and retest these lows. Okay, and if that occurs, where we could see a bottom occur in here, and then we could take a long position on Tuesday. Okay, early in the Asian session, where price action, if you look left, look, we're at an area where we're respecting structure. You see how we've got the low, high highs, high lows, high highs, high lows, high highs, and now we're respecting the structure. We may get a push tomorrow in the morning session or New York session back into these lows where we buy, and then we go back up. Okay, we go back up into the channel and back up into this area 1.89, okay, or 1.84 region. So we come back into this region. We may get a low and then push back up. Taken home from this area, we could take a long position back up into this area maybe. This is daily time frame obviously, but if I show you on a 4-hour time frame, get pushed back down into this region hopefully tomorrow, back into these areas here, and then we could look for a long position around here. Or what we may have is price action just hover and consolidate until news comes out and then pushes up. So we are going to be monitoring these regions here, and I will be updating you guys. Okay, 140 pips to the downside. We could take a short position tomorrow. I will be updating very closer to the time, and I will be watching what price action does at these bottoms here. You see why I highlighted this whole region, weekly support? But it's a range, it's an entire range. I'm highlighting an entire range. I want to see what price action does at these lows. If we hold, I will be looking for a push up. I will be looking for a buy position. If we hold at the bottom here, I'm looking for a buy position back up. So I will be updating you guys, okay? We may see GBP AUD to the upside tomorrow. Okay, moving on, we've got Euro USD. Euro USD extended to the downside. Euro weakness, I do favor price action coming back down all the way to 10700. And the reason why I say that is, let me show you something. We have a gap in the market. Market makers have made this gap that needs to be filled. And this gap has occurred in 2017 May, and that needs to be filled. So what we may see is, because of USD exceeding strength and USD rallying up to the 100 level, I do favor Euro USD pushing lower all the way down to 1.0700 level. Okay, so we have broken out of this monthly support. I'm now turning it into some sort of resistance on lower time frame. We've also broken out of the falling wedge. Instead of pushing to the upside, we've broken to the downside. So I do favor, and we have had a nice 4-hour closure. Okay, a nice 4-hour closure and another 4-hour retest. So I do favor price action this week to see a more push to the downside. I want to see how the market opens. Very scary bearish candlestick to the downside. So I do want to see how the market really behaves now. Let me see if I can see any Fibonacci moves. But I don't want to see price action push up above the monthly support. I want to see it respect it and turn into a resistance and rally to the downside. Let me just see something else. I do favor price action rally in order to down these lows here before making some sort of a reversal. Okay, if you get to the bottom of this region, I do favor price action pulling back up. So if we come to all the way back down to 1.09200 region by Asian session, I do favor price action pushing back up. So something like this I'm looking for now. I want to see either a lower push, just a little pullback to just confirm this is a good level for me to take a short position, and then take it back down all the way to 10700 to the bottom of this box. Okay, so I'm waiting for something like this to happen for me to take the short position. Okay, euro is weak at the moment, fully weak against the dollar. So let's take full advantage and take the short position that when it presents itself to us. Then we have Euro AUD. This is my favorite pair so far for the week that's coming up. I'm going to be watching it very closely. Even though we are seeing weakness in Euro AUD, we are, however, seeing more of a weakness with Australian dollar. Their economy may fall apart, okay, if China and US do not make a deal. 40% of their imports come from China, okay? So it's important that the Australian dollar, the Aussies make, it's important that the China and US trade deal goes through, and that the Aussie and the China can actually start to make imports and exports again at good rate, where no tariffs are involved, and both countries are profiting. So both countries are profiting really well. So moving on, I do favour this pair to push to the upside. If you really look here, what we are seeing, right, it's waves. We are seeing waves. So we've got this first wave to the upside. So we've got this A to B, C. Okay, so if I pull up my Fibonacci level, A to B, so A to B, C, look how we are reacting after 618, pushing all the way to our first target. Now this becomes my A, B, I'm waiting for my C so I can get my D level. Okay, so again, look, now this is my A, that's my B, C, I'm waiting C. Okay, so daily time frame, what does that say? Price action is coming to 1.622, 1.62550 is the level that I am waiting for price action to tap before I take a long position back up to 1.700. Okay, well, this is about 250, I think. Whoa, so yeah, it's a swing trade. Yeah, okay, this is a higher time frame analysis, daily time frame. But why I'm saying this is waves. Look at this first wave, A to B to C, match pullback, A, B, C, D extension. Also, if I remove all of this, what do we see here? Price action moving in waves. A to B, it pulls back. Okay, so we want to make this wave up, pull back. We're now climbing till we make this wave back up here. One touch, two touch, we're waiting for that final third touch. Okay, okay, look here, we've already had 3 touches on the bottom. And when you see channels like this, they tend to move the same. So when price action is in no man's land, do favor price action to pull back up into this area. So 1.7 is my level for price action to pull up on a higher time frame. 4-hour time frame. We can see that price action right now, it's on its way back down into this area. So what we may see, so because we've broken this whole structure break, so we may tap into this region and retest this area. So if that occurs, we will take a long position, because we know that this area is a very good level for price action to bounce off. So if price action comes into this area, I am going to be watching it to push up to the upside. Okay, 1.64 is my target for this pair to bounce back into. Okay, I want to retest this area nicely. Let me see if there's a good Fibonacci coming into this region. Okay, when it comes into this area, sorry. So if it comes into this area and it bounces, I believe price action could potentially bounce back up into this 38.2 level. Okay, and if we break above it, we can push up higher. But if we don't and we get rejected and Aussie come out and don't cut rates and they come out with a very positive tone, we could see push lower. But I do favour them coming out with a dovish tone, keeping rates the same, and we could see weakness in Aussie against the euro. So with that being said, I do favour a bullish move for this one to come up in the beginning of the week, and I will keep you guys updated on what price action does at 1.62 550, guys. Okay, so moving on, what else have we got? Euro NZD. Euro NZD. I have been calling this short position to come up for a very long time, and now it finally reacted of the weekly resistance at 1.75750. Okay, we are at the moment at a level of support coming into on a 4-hour time frame. Look clearly, resistance, 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 support. I want to see how price action reacts around here. If we break, I will expect a little retest before I take a short position back down into 1.71750. Euro is weak. New Zealand dollar is slightly stronger than euro, so we are going to see more downside on this pair. Okay, keep you guys updated on this as well. USD CAD. Okay, USD CAD I was analyzing. I don't think I finished. Oh, I did. Okay, so what do we see here? So with USD CAD, okay, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower high potentially. But what you need to understand is look at the trend of the pair on a daily time frame. Okay, we got a nice uptrend. Okay, respected structure, so we still are in an uptrend. Again, we're respecting another structure here. Look, so again, we are in an uptrend. Very good uptrend. So what I favor price action for USD CAD is, because Canadian dollar right now, okay, they've got the interest rates coming up on Wednesday. So what the market makers are going to do is push price up, because they know they're going to keep the interest rates the same. They know they're going to come up with a neutral tone, and they know that it's going to be more strong. It's going to be stronger than Canadian dollar. So what we may see, well, it's going to be stronger than dollar. So what we may see is that price action pulls back down. Hold on. Pulls back down into 1.32300. Yeah, around this region here. Okay. So on a 4-hour, see how that region held. Okay, that region held really well. And look at how price action, bearish engulfing, bullish engulfing, same. I mean, bearish and bullish at the same level. Okay, so multiple fake outs. So I do favor price action now to push higher. We could see a little slight movement occurring, a little bit more pushback to the downside. But for this week, I do favor Monday or Tuesday price action to make this 100 pip move to the upside. Okay, we could see a 100 pip move to the upside, hit that 1.34 target, and that's where I'll be looking to take a short position to the downside all the way back to 1.32 500 or even lower. Okay, I'll be looking for that level 1.32 500 or even lower. Okay, we could be coming back to 1.31. Okay, so with that being said, guys, and we got oil as well. At the moment, we've taken short positions. We're up here at 156.25, 156. So we're around here, around this region. Okay, we've taken a short position here, 200 pips to the downside. Okay, well, 165 pips we made to the downside. Pull back. I do favor price action to still continue momentum to the downside. If we break 55, we could see price action just absolutely tank back down to 53 and even lower. Okay, oil production at the moment slowed down due to global recessions, also due to global recessions and lack of fundings, because every single economy at the moment hasn't even got enough money to actually keep the economy going. So we can't be spending money on oil, etc. So what they do is they lower the oil prices so that everyone can purchase them, because everything is now becoming electric. Okay, so we're actually looking after the globe via using solar panels, etc. With that being said, when it comes to such like recessions and that, people are pushed to more use electricity, etc. Less electricity by using all of these solar panels, etc. And that's why you'll see oil prices reduce. So with oil prices being reduced, I do favor price action now, because you see this little channel here. I do favor price action now to come back to the bottom of this channel and weaken all the way down to $50. So keep your eyes on this move as well. I will keep you updated. If you get a break, I'd expect a little retest and push to the downside. Gold. Okay, I think I've analyzed this today. Yeah. Gold still favor price action to push down to this area. So with gold, look, you don't even need to analyze it. It's so simple. Go down to the daily time frame and you just look at this. What's price action doing? Okay. So what do we have here? area of support. We've broken through. Where's the next area of support? Here. That's how gold really moves. It's not rocket science with gold. It's so simple. Look, it always does it. Go to daily time frame. Look, you find that support and resistance, and that's all it will do. It'll go up, down, up, down. There, support. You had support here, pushed up, and that was support. It came back, hit that resistance. You should have sold it to that support. Now buy it. Broke to that resistance. If you held it, would have broke. Came back up here. Okay, pushed up even higher here. Support, resistance, support, resistance. Now pushed up, broke. It's gonna come back into this region 1.1500. I reckon 1500 because psychological number. Okay, or we may even see a gap up. So we want to see how the market happens. But I do favor price action to push lower. Okay, dollar strength, gold lower. So with that being said, hope you enjoyed this 30-minute video on just understanding the market and how we are going to be behaving this week. We will be talking about risk management, and I will be updating you guys about those candlestick videos on a daily basis. I hope you enjoy these videos, and I catch up with you guys later. Peace.